What's going on, guys? This is Mr. Teej, 66 Movie Reviews. I am Mr. Teej. Welcome to my series of horror film reviews, and we're going to start off with possibly my favorite horror film of all time. If I had to come up, someone asked me, what's your favorite horror film of all time? I would say it is 1980's The Shining, directed by Stanley Kubrick, starring Jack Nicholson, Shelley Duvall, and Danny Lloyd. And the story concerns, based on Stephen King's book, by the way. The story concerns a guy who's going to be the winter caretaker at a Colorado lodge deep in the mountains. He's going to be the only one there. He has to take care of all, cleaning and, running the boiler and stuff like that. He's going to bring his family up there. And they are not alone. And that's your movie. What can I say about this movie? Stanley Kubrick is a god in filmmaking circles. And this movie, probably more than any single other movie, shows off his filmmaking prowess. I mean, long, Steadicam shots, just long takes, period. And that's what I love about Kubrick, and why, I get tired of all these modern-day filmmakers with their quick cut. He lets things play out. He lets you study the frame. He zooms in very slowly, like it's a film to be studied, as well as entertain you, but, there was always more to him than just, I'm just going to entertain you. I want you to think. There's so much to this movie. I mean, an entire documentary has been made about this movie called Room 237, where they go over theories about, what it all means. I haven't actually watched it, but I've heard some of the theories about, Native Americans and things like that. So it's possible. This movie is jam-packed. The sets in this movie are fantastic. I mean, I watched a documentary on the making of the film on the Blu-ray. It's by his daughter Vivian Kubrick, and there's one point where Jack Nicholson basically walks around the sets to get to where he's shooting. I mean, and he seems to walk forever. The set just goes on forever. I mean, they don't build sets like that anymore. It's just so expansive. It's so huge. I mean, only Kubrick could have gotten away with that. It's just absolutely mind-blowing to think what he could do. The best part about this movie, well, there's so many best parts, but my favorite part about this movie is the fact that they're very unreliable protagonists. No one, they don't know whether the ghosts in this movie are real or not. Jack Nicholson's slowly losing his mind, and the son has this, a psychic power called the Shining, where he's basically seeing the ghosts, or is he just a nutcase? And then you've got the mother, Shelley Duvall, who's, for the most part, she seems pretty normal, but then as the movie goes along, and her husband tries to kill her, she starts seeing things too, but it's only after that, the husband starts to try to kill her, so you wonder, is she just freaked out and seeing all this stuff? Like, to the very end, you don't know what's going on. I mean, one of the most mystifying final shots of all time, those who've seen the movie know it, but if you haven't seen it, I won't spoil it, but it just throws into a question everything that's happened over the course of this movie. You're just like, what? How can... I don't know. I mean, that's the great thing. This movie makes you think. It doesn't just sit there and entertain you. You have to go back through it. There's a reason why this movie is, so well analyzed, because you can watch it over and over and over again. I know I've seen it, over 10 times probably. It may even be more than that. I think we have to talk about the acting. The one, the only, Jack Nicholson, in one of his career-defining roles. Some people say he goes over the top. I say horseshit. I don't care, because Jack Nicholson is so much fun to watch. Nobody can play crazy like him. It's almost a kabuki performance. It is so over the top, but it's just so much fun. And the wife is kind of annoying. Shelley Duvall is slightly irritating, so I hate to say it, but when he's threatening to kill her, I kind of feel like, yeah, kill the bitch. She's really aggravating, and Shelley Duvall is good in the film. It's mean to say, but she does look like a skeleton sometimes with her, scared, expression. She looks like a skeleton. She looks like she almost could be part of or one of the ghosts, which is pretty mean to say, but it's true. But she does a good job being scared. She's kind of, as I said, she's kind of irritating, but I think that was by design. Apparently, Kubrick treated her like crap while making this movie, was very mean to her to get the desired effect. Some people say he was overly mean, but, she plays scared very well. When her big bug eyes go out, it's great. It's fun to watch. The only other major cast member, well, actually two more, I should say. There's Danny Lloyd, who plays the young boy Danny, and he's very good. I like the fact that he doesn't come off as a cute little kid. He's a seriously demented, disturbed child. The famous, talking to his with his finger is in some ways it is kind of silly, but it's also very scary at the same time, but he does a fairly solid job. He's kind of blank sometimes, but again, it's a Kubrick film, so there's very little, emotional through line through it, it's very detached, very unemotional, so that works very well. So overall, yeah, he does a good job, and Scatman Crothers is in the movie, playing Dick Halloran, the cook, who also has The Shining, who basically tells Danny, what he has, and he does a fairly good job. It's a very simple part. He has this great scene where, he's having one of his Shining episodes where, I swear to God, his eyes are about to bug out of his head. It is so much fun to watch. The imagery in this movie is, of course, disturbing. It's become legendary. It's been parodied not millions, but thousands of times before. Maybe thousands of times, but, the elevator full of blood that gushes out like a river. My favorite, though, is still the woman in the bathtub that I won't even explain to you what it is. It is just, it's freaking disturbing, And the movie does have humor, too, along with Jack Nicholson. There's also a part with a deceased party guest, who, I actually don't want to reveal it, but, Lloyd the bartender is all very funny, although I don't know if they did some kind of makeup test to him, but he looks like a ghoul or something. It is wonderful, but the imagery in this movie is disturbing. The music, I can't forget the music in this movie. It's one of the most unconventional horror film scores I've ever heard, because except at the beginning, there's really no theme. It's like noise. There's a heartbeat which is added in. It's very hard to describe. It's very avant-garde, you almost feel like this could be in some independent little art film instead of a big major Hollywood film, but it adds so much atmosphere to it. Disturbing as shit. Is this movie dated? Maybe in the sense that, nowadays people would be taking cell phones with them, and, it'd be very hard not to call for help, but even then, if you're deep in the mountains like that, because they say in the movie that this area gets, 20 feet of snow on average in the wintertime, so, it's very hard to get up there, so even if they did make a cell phone call, the cavalry is not going to be coming immediately. So, maybe in some ways it's kind of dated, but I still think it's, the situation is, creepy enough where I can overlook that. As for flaws, oh God, I really can't think of many flaws in this movie. It's a Kubrick film, and it's just so well thought out from beginning to end. I guess maybe a little overlong, but not really, but I guess Shelley Duvall is kind of annoying, as I said. That's maybe the one flaw in this movie where she is, but it's intentionally so I can't really fault the movie too much for it, but overall, if I had to give this movie a score, oh God, a 9.7. This movie is damn near flawless, I can't give it a 10 because no movie's really that perfect, but, as I said, maybe Shelley Duvall is a little annoying, but, other than that, I can't really think of much wrong with this movie, but if you haven't seen it, I don't know what the hell you're waiting for. It's Halloween, it's October, it's almost Halloween. Check it out immediately. That is all for this week. Thanks, guys, for watching, and I will see you next time.